Hey Flosstube, I'm Rebecca. I am known as the Route 66 Stitcher, and I am coming to you again from my catio on the back porch, so apologies if a random cat happens to walk through. I am in their space, so it can happen. It's been since I looked, and Flosstube 14, which was my last Flosstube, was on July 9th. So it's been more than a hot minute. In my defense, my job has been really challenging in the past few months. We've had some turnover at work, and I'm having to travel a lot more than I've had to in the past. So it took quite a while to get enough stuff built up that I felt it was worth putting together a Flosstube for. So thank you for coming back. If you've been here before, I do greatly appreciate your time and your attention. If you haven't been here before, I hope you like what you see. This is mainly about cross stitch. I do some punch needle and some hard hanger at times. It's other needle crafts, if you will. Yeah, so may show that from time to time as well. So without further ado, let's go. Oh, before I forget, this is my Don't Cross Me t-shirt that I got from PH Doodles on Etsy. I will link all the information down below. I'm sure several of you already own this as well. They have several cross-stitch related t-shirts and merch on their Etsy site. And again, all the deets in the description box down below. Sorry, I'd completely forgotten about that. And the Do Not Cross Me is mood 24/7, so it seemed like the thing to do. All right, let's get started. Apologies. Cat fur's everywheres. And I'm just going to have to roll with the cat fur. I, like, so many of you, took Lady Dot's and Lindy Stitch's needlebook class back in June, July, August. I don't even remember. It was months ago at this point. And I have completed it. I had shown it had to be at the end of July or August because I had shown the stitching for this in the last Flosstube. I had not. This is now the finished project. And the inside, again, for the needlebook, little scissors, little needles and pin spaces and whatnots. I don't ever need to know how to do. I've just come to the decision that doing French knots with silk ribbon is not my forte, and I'm okay with that. I don't need to do that. I learned a lot of techniques and a lot of shortcuts from Lois in this class. They're going to come in very, very handy in other finishing techniques and stuff that I do. A lot of shortcuts worked great. So very happy with how that turned out. So that's full finish number 1. As always, I continue to work on the Blue Flower, Janine McGowan's Greyhound Year, that I do separately. And I am doing these as my Greyhound Seamus, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. So the Seamus Memorial continues. And since the last time I was here was July, I'll start off with August. And I found some cute Greyhound fabric on Spoonflower as well for this flat belt. So there's August. And, oops, September. September. Found Greyhound fabric. I love this fabric. I found this Greyhound fabric on Spoonflower as well. Absolutely love that. And of course, since we are where we are at this moment in time, October. With Ghost Bunny. I really like the Ghost Bunny. So I try to put a rabbit into each one. I put a rabbit into each one of these months. And that just seemed like the appropriate rabbit for October. Was Ghost Bunny. So November and December yet to complete. I have them stitched. I just haven't completely finished them yet. So that'll be in the next Flosstube. Those two to finish that series out. Those are the only full finishes that I have for you. I do have some stitching finishes to show you. And one of them is Hands-On Design, Kathy Haberman's Be a Pineapple pattern. And it is this Work That Crown needlebook down here in the corner. And that is Work That Crown. And this is on 28 count opal lugana from Mystic Fabrics. This came out of a grab bag that I had. And I did a conversion. And as always, the floss fights back when you least want it to. And I did a conversion of the colors to Fiberlicious Yummy Fiber silks. I have a ton of their silks. I was in their Silk of the Month club for over a year, and I've just been hoarding it. And it's like, I need to get it out and use it. So transferred all of that into silk, and I still have all of this kitted up, more fabric and the silk to do this. The flamingo drum. And we're going to get some weird shadows today from the sun. I'm not used to where the sun is in the sky now, based on where it should be for this time, considering fall is here. So that's my hands-on design. And I picked that up at Needlework Galleria back in 2021 from Kathy and Mr. HOD. I have also continued my rack stack, Plum Street samplers, and this was the polar pack, the 3 polar bears. And I have to say, I'm not really a fan. So it lacks, for me, the visual interest of some of the other ones, and of course it does, because it's just blobs of white. This is stitched on 36 count Wild Mint by Atomic Ranch, and it's using called for the red, which was a fancy floss, licorice red, and then DMC for the rest. And again, you know, the facial expressions are cute and all, but I'm not loving this as much as I've loved some of the other racks that I've done, other stacks. So that was a finish, and the cats are in everything. And then another stitching finish that I have, and this is Barbara Anna Design. Again, cat fur everywhere. Barbara Anna Design for SAL, her most recent one called Cleo. And Cleo was stitched on 28 count Nutmeg Lugana by Atomic Ranch. And she is done in all of the called for DMC and then Petite Treasure Braid for the metallic. And she really, even though she's literally all full coverage, was an extremely fast stitch because there's no confetti. She was all just big blocks of color where you could bang out lots of it very quickly. Got the cartouches and some Blackwork cartouches up in the back, up there. The cat's supposed to have a gold earring. I couldn't make it work and look good, so I thought it looked pretty funky. I took it out. But other than that, she's exactly as charted and called for flosses, all DMC. She's really pretty. I really like her. So that goes down here. And the cats are fighting. If you hear stuff in the background, that's because the cats are fighting. All right, let's move on to new starts, which are now whips for me. And first one is Greyhound Santa by Dirty Annie's. Greyhound Santa This has to be the third or fourth Dirty Annie's pattern I've stitched this year, quite honestly. And I am also doing the Greyhounds as a Seamus memorial, so all of the same colors that I did for Seamus in the Greyhound Year calendar are the same colors that I'm doing here. And here he is. And this is stitched on 40 count opal linen. And this was a grab bag fabric, Mystic Fabrics, I want to say Black Friday, maybe last year. And I've also done a Fiberlicious Yummy Fiber conversion, silk conversion for the coat as well. And of course, the Greyhound Seamus is stitched in the same floss as the Greyhound Year calendar. So this is coming along. Hopeful for a holiday finish, but you never know. Another thing that is a new start and yet still working on is Tiny Modernist Unicorn Tapestry. I love this. This came out in 2020. This was Market 2020. I loved it. I immediately bought it, kitted it up, and had it ready to go. It's been sitting in my bag project closet for quite some time. And I have been working on this. This is where I am so far. This is the upper, I have 1/4 of it done. This is the upper right hand quarter, depending on how you're looking at it. Quarter of the pattern is completed. This is on 36 count Dreamy linen by Mystic Fabrics. So in Dreamy, using all of the called for DMC. Every bit of it's called for. I'm not liking this stitch. It's, for some reason, this is really, really hard for me. I can't get into it. I love it. I love how it's looking as it comes together. I don't know what it is, but I'm not liking the stitch. And so it's not going quickly for me. And I will gloss over it. I will look at it and go, and pick something else up to stitch instead. So it's probably going to be sitting there for a while. I have no idea why. I love the fabric. I love the pattern. I love everything about it. I'm just not enjoying the stitch. So it's just one of those things. Moving on to not new starts, but still in the whip pile, of course, is my Peppermint Patty Year of Blackwork SAL, the little Blackwork squares that come out each and every single week on Wednesday. Again, I had all the borders in now. I got all the borders in, and I am still up to date on this, which is fantastic. This is going to finish soon. Claire said she's putting out the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks will be out together, I want to say like December 15th. So you have time to finish it before the actual holidays and get before the next one starts the first week of January. So this is done with Sulky. It's 4055 Sulky thread for all of it. And this is 28 count Gilded opal lugana from Mystic Fabrics. So that continues to be my Wednesday stitch. I am still working on the Advent series kit number 1 from Mill Hill. This is my kind of travel stitch because I don't need anything special to see it. I don't even really need special light. I just love it, the perfect perforated paper. Even though I'm not liking stitching on perforated paper, it is actually the perfect travel thing for me. I am down to the very last of the 9, and this is going to be the shepherd with the sheep. And I still have some beads to put in on a couple of them as well, but this is very, very close to being finished. All I need is one more trip, and it'll be done. So that is moving on. Another work in progress that you have seen before is my punch needle. I'm not making great progress on my punch needle. This red leaf you saw before. I had actually started the red leaf back in July. You can see I've not made much progress, excuse me. There's this much left to punch on it, and that's basically because I ran out of the Valdani floss, which is that particular color. So I am waiting for that to come in the mail. In the meantime, I've gone down and started on the squirrel. I've got part of the tail in. It's actually easier to see it on the backside, isn't it? So I've got the squirrel outlined and ready to go for fill-in, and then still have the mushrooms up here in the corner. This was supposed to be done, of course, by fall, for fall bowl fillers, and maybe next fall at this point is where it's going to go. All right. And then, of course, ongoing whip that I started in January is DoodleCraft Design's Blackwork Highland Cow, the coup. And it is coming along. I have both. I have the width set now, the borders of the width set now that I have both horns in. And there's a rainbow in here. Yeah, interesting. So I have the width set now, and now I'm going in and filling down. It's taken me a while, and to be fair, that's on me. I actually pulled this out, stitched this horn, and took it out of the hoop, looked at it, and said it's not even with the other horn. So I took it all out, frogged it all, went back and stitched it all, took it out of the hoop and went, I'm really screwing up with this pattern. I have no idea what's going on here. And then took it out and stitched it for the third time before I finally looked at the picture, and the horns are not symmetrical. So I created all that extra work for myself because the horns are not symmetrical. And if I had just looked at the picture first, I probably would have seen that. So I am not real happy with this, apologies, this blue. I'm probably going to take it out and put in a little darker tone there on that. So not happy with that. This is stitched on 28 count Lugana in Nutmeg by Atomic Ranch. This is actually going to be a fat half. I actually bought a yard of this because this is going to take a fat half, just a little shy of a fat half to stitch. And I wanted to make sure I had enough, which is why you're seeing it pop up in other stuff that I've been stitching. It's like, yeah, I'm going to use that till it's gone. I paid a lot for that. All right. In my last, it's New Start and Finishes and Whips all in one is from the Jingle Ball of 2022. I kind of got, wow, I haven't stitched anything other than that one ornament from the Jingle Ball, all the stuff that I bought last year, and here I am buying tickets for the next one. So I probably should stitch some of that. So I started with Kathy Haberman's The Hands-On Design Tree Lot, and this is stitched on 40 count slate linen, fabrics by Steph. And they're in all the called for DMC. And so those are done. And then I got looking at the Jingle Bobble book and other patterns that I purchased. And I was like, yes, I'm just going to continue this. And so this is Pierre Noel by Kathy Haberman, which was also an exclusive to the Jingle Ball last year, just like the Tree Lot. But the Tree Lot and Pierre Noel have been released by her now to the general public. Anybody can purchase them. And so all I had to do was add the blue and kept all of the same colors from the Tree Lot and moved on. And then I decided to go ahead in the Jingle Bobble book. I was like, those will look fine in the Kathy Haberman colors and on this fabric. And I apologize, I do not remember the name of the designer for either one of these because it just left. I'll put it on the screen. because that's rude. I had it and it was gone. And I was like, well, what else can I do on this? So I continued on in the Jingle Bobble book. And was able to fit in Ginny McGowan's The Blue Flower Giraffe from the Jingle Bobble book, and did some beadwork for the tree on him. And this is Stephanie Webb. This is Lindy Stitches. This is the whip. I still have all of the wording and holly down here in the corner to go. I still have space to stitch more. Am I going to finish all of the things that I bought at last year's Jingle Ball before I get to this year's Jingle Ball? No. Am I going to be able to fit all the stuff I bought last year onto this piece of fabric and stitch with these colors? Also no. But I may actually get a full finish out of some of these because I did purchase one of the very few things of haul I have is Shantel 141 Mystery Make-Along of 2023 for Christmas. If you have these and you haven't opened your box, stop now because I'm going to go through them. I got open this box and I went, there's a lot that I can finish these ornaments on. There's a couple snowflakes, different snowflake designs that'll be fine. A little box with a bow, a present, a tag, an ornament, another ornament. I think Pierre Noel would be really cool finished as a snow globe. I guess a cutting board or big tag. Star ornament. And then shiplap. Maybe a poster kind of a thing. So if I can get enough time to get some paint and figure out what I'm going to do with some of these ornaments, I might be able to get some of them finished before Christmas of this year. So that's my stitching. And some of my haul. On the other side of the haul, I bought this piece of fabric, which is Fabrics by Steph in Slate. It's 40 linen, which was a fat quarter. I had ordered it from her website, and before it got here, I had found on a D-Stash site a fat half of the same fabric in 40 count in Slate for less than I paid for the fat quarter. So you're going to see a lot on Slate moving forward next year. Sort of like the Nutmeg Atomic Ranch of this year. I also found on the same D-Stash site some more Handmade by Stephanie, and these are fat 8s, and I don't know if they were fabric of the month or limited runs or whatever. This is Fruit Punch, which to me reads kind of springy. I'm thinking a Satsuma Street might be pretty on that. One of those Satsuma Street spring egg things. And then this is same 28 count linen by hand dyed by Stephanie's in Raspberry Lemonade. And it's very yellow on one half and very pink on the other. Very summer. You know me. I'll find something to do on all of these weirdly dyed fabrics. I always do. And then I found a new to me, but I've heard about it quite a bit, R&R Reproduction Fabrics. And this is a 36 count linen in Daybreak blend. And this is it's a little bit more than a fat quarter, but it's a little bit more than a fat quarter, and it might actually have some of these lines from being folded that are not going to come out. I'm going to have to work on those, but it's really pretty. but it's, and they show worse on one side than the other. I might be able to actually work around those and see what I could do. It is really stiff in the hands. It's a really stiff fabric, and I really like that. That's what I like to stitch on, stiff fabrics. And I know everybody's got their preference. That just happens to be mine. I also brought Praiseworthy Stitches, the little birds Christmas kit. And that's a little kit with a little pillow that you stitch that goes in the box that's going to hold all of your stuff. And that was at, not Market, but the one that's online in August. Yeah. And then at that same D-Stash site, I found a Satsuma Street. This was Christmas 1 ornament set by Jody Rush. It's still in the plastic. This is 2016. Those will look good on that slate. And then I found Old World Santas 2 by Prairie Schooler. I like the old Saint Nick's. I like Santas who are not our traditional American red, white beard. I really do like the Old World Santas. So I found all of that at the same D-Stash site. And that's all I have for you today. Very little haul, very little stitching, no finishes, so to speak. And but I do appreciate you stopping by and checking me out. Thanks.